Hello and welcome back to the Blues Focus podcast. Once again, I'm glad to be joined by Zach Woods
Hello.
and Jamie Lawler.
Yo.
You right, guys? How's your day and week sort of been?
Yeah,
Have anything
good.
going on?
All better for. Actually, no, we'll get onto it later because I wanna look forward to it. But yeah, good. Sorry about the background. It's back at uni, so a bit of a stinker. Tommy's got the blue shirts and everything, but I've got a sink and a dartboard. So apologies. But what can you do?
Busy week at work, Jamie, or a pretty sound
I'm off.
week?
Well, last week was obviously rather busy. Obviously, I had the joys of recording a podcast in the manager's office, which was, fun. But now
Good
I'm off this
podcast.
week, so chilling,
Yeah,
all good. And obviously it's going to be a positive podcast today, so this is going to
I
be
know.
nice.
We can actually revisit the good series that that run of podcasts
Yeah.
that we did when we first joined each other. It was like win after win after win. It's like, oh yeah, I remember how this feels now. So yeah, in today's episode, we'll be discussing that crazy late 4-3 winner at Swansea on the weekend. How we go from there. Do we improve or do we get a bit of reality check against the Albion on Friday? And what does this mean going forward for the protests? And also a little bit on some of the ownership situation, and I don't know, but we could discuss of like how ownership situations and financial fair play elsewhere as well, because big news today, obviously Manchester City are being brought up for breaches in their financial fair plays as well. I've seen that Jamie's laughing.
Good. We got
So
points for Christian Pedersen, so they can piss off. Like,
do you want to kick us off then, Jamie?
no, sorry, that's all I wanted to say about it. I feel zero sympathy for Man City, and Liam Gallagher can cry his little eyes out.
You're not much of a fan of Oasis, are you, Jamie?
I'm not a fan of Oasis. It's just clearly Man City have taken the mick for about 15 years, and they're finally like getting some comeuppance on it. Not being funny, the signings they make. I think Chelsea are next as well. The signings that's been going on, and then I see us get it with FFP all them a few years ago, get dot points, and I'm literally looking at Man City going firming 100 million for Grealish, and I'm like, right, no, come on, no.
Nah, man.
Rangers send them to League Two.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not read up about it much today because it did come out earlier this morning, and I've been pretty busy going down to Birmingham and back. But yeah, we'll discuss more about that later. But let's talk about the Swansea game, which was a very, very good end to a game, let's say the least. So who wants to kick us off talking about the Swansea game?
Go on, Jamie.
Go on,
You
Zach.
kick things off, mate. No. You start. Save mine for later, mate.
God, pressure. So disclaimer that I'm a bad Blues fan, and I was actually at a cup semi-final watching my mate manage a team he's on the Voice of the Vic podcast. He manages a football team in Birmingham, so I was actually watching that and getting updates from my phone. I have since watched the extended highlights, so I kind of know what's happened. So first half, we basically got a penalty somehow with Kedra running through and then got battered, proceeded to get shit on for about 40 minutes and got dicks. Could have been about 6-1 down at half time. Poor performance. We couldn't get the ball. And then second half, fair play to Eustace. He even put his hands up himself, said, I made tactical mistakes here. Changed it about. And we absolutely played them off the park, apparently, second half. Battered them. They time wasted. Took the piss. Ref actually had a pair of bollocks and decided to actually keep to the time that's his extended to. And we got what we deserved for once and actually fought back from a goal down to win a game for the first time in about 2 years. And I can't begin to imagine what that away must have been like in the away end there, Tommy. That must have been absolute limbs.
Yeah, there was a lot of limbs in my face, never mind around in the fucking away end. I just suddenly got this arm across my face out of nowhere. It was my brother. So it was just absolutely insane. It was an amazing feeling, particularly how I use this word a lot, and I know that other people do as well, like apathetic. I feel like it's just gotten so bad that you kind of don't feel much anymore with the Blues, but that at the weekend was fucking brilliant to feel. It was about time as well. And, you're right, it's what we deserved. We really did deserve it because, we had so many chances towards the end, and we were just thinking in the back of my mind, our typical Blues, we never take our chances. I even thought at one point after we got that third goal, I thought, you know what, knowing us that we're probably going to lose it again anyway, and John Ruddy obviously had an absolute howler with that third goal for Swansea after having a very solid performance. The shame that he did it in that way. It was obviously a massive error, but I just thought, that's just typical Blues, isn't it? But to turn it round like that and Austin Trusty to get the little glance on at the near post was just absolute carnage. It was such an amazing feeling. It really was.
Oh man,
It's just terrific. What about
how
you,
much do
Zach?
they
Did you
want?
watch it? You what?
How much do they want for Trusty? You know what I'm saying? Like,
He's
please.
been flawless, hasn't he, for us? He's been superb, yeah.
Yeah, he's been amazing in terms of the game. It was, I think, the overall performance wasn't too hot, particularly defensively. Obviously, leaked 3 goals. We looked a bit more assuring when we switched to a 4 at the back, but I kind of don't want to focus too much on the negatives when we were just or not gifted, but given the most unbelievable end to a football match we've seen in a very, very long time. I mean, scoring in the 91st minute is amazing, and then to win it in the 97th, it was incredible. But a good end to the game. Overall, it wasn't our best game. Again, leaking 3 goals. And it's sort of frustrating. I don't know what you felt, Tommy, but we didn't start the game too well at all, to be honest. Swansea was certainly
No.
the dominant side. We went 1-0 up. It shouldn't have been a penalty, and penalty should have been saved. You just knew Swansea. I was just watching at home, just waiting for Swansea to take the lead because it was inevitably going to happen. Obviously, then went 2-2. Nicely taken goal from Chong. 3-2 Ruddy error. They happen as a goalkeeper. It's his first one, apart from the pre-season one, since he's made joining the club. Then 4-3. So an amazing end to the game. Overall, the game wasn't great. Let's be honest. Not the best Blues performance, but an incredible last 8 minutes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Spot on with a lot of that, yeah. I feel
Can we
like,
just
go on,
go on,
Jeremy.
sorry. I was just say,
No.
can we just go out and I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say the Duke got to start on Friday.
Yeah, I think we can all
don't
agree with that.
disagree. Don't disagree. He's been superb, hasn't he, since coming back into the team? We did a podcast a couple of months ago saying, does Duke still have a place at Blues? And I can't remember what we said, but I think the sort of feeling was, no, he doesn't. He's not getting into the team. And when he does come on for the last 10 minutes, he doesn't make much of an impact. But the last month, or certainly after the World Cup, he's been nothing short of unreal for us.
Yeah. But we all kind of said, if we're going to play Duke, it's fine, isn't it? But you need to play to Djukovic and his strengths.
Yeah.
That man, arguably, and I'll go out on a limb and say, is the best header of the ball in the championship. In terms of an aerial
100%.
threat, he's the best player in the championship at that kind of stuff. He will hold that ball up, he'll flick it on, and he'll. Let's be honest, how many times under Monk, how many times under any of these managers have we just sent a ball to back stick knowing that he's there for a goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think you said something similar to that, Zach. I feel like I remember you saying that he's one of the best headers of the ball ever.
I think, yeah, I've got a bit of abuse when I spoke about this to my mates actually, and said I think he's the best. And I said this is exactly what I said. I said he's one of the best in the world. I think when I was saying that, I mean he's one of the best forward players in the world. Just heading the ball on and winning the ball. I think defensively, obviously, when you've got your 6'3", 6'4" defenders, Djukovic don't stand much of a chance. But we're talking about a striker who can just head the ball down and win 85 to 90% of the long balls played up pitch. He's honestly superb at it. Like you see Troy Deeney do it, who's a similar height and build. And, I think Troy Deeney's had a pretty decent season so far, but he's got nowhere near the success rate at winning headers that are lumped from defence or John Ruddy and heading them down. So I think Djukovic is one of the best forward players in the world when it comes to, heading the ball down.
I think a lot of teams would like us to have him on the pitch, particularly in the last 10 minutes as well, because just a massive impact from the bench. Yeah, absolutely.
It must be horrible playing 80 minutes. Imagine dealing with Kedra and Scott Hogan for 80 minutes and being shattered, and then seeing Djukovic coming on. You just feel like, fuck off. No, like, stop.
Did that performance at the weekend maybe wonder like how you would play the team more often in the future? Because obviously we've been playing this different style of football for a lot of the season, trying to play a bit more technically. But particularly if we're in a bit of a relegation battle now, do we change it up and do we start playing Duke and we start playing a little bit nasty here and there and try and get the ball into the box more often and win some headers and, like Route 1 football, like you say, Jamie?
I mean, we said it the other week, didn't we, Zach? And it was one of the points I didn't get around saying, but we are a horrible team and we're a working class football club in terms of that. As what we do is the dirty stuff, Birmingham City. And we, you've said at the beginning of the season, he wants to be that team that no one likes to play against. And we can do that. And we're pretty good at shithousing and doing that. When you got Hannibal on the pitch, you got Djukovic, you can play nasty football. And you know what? It's come to that point where we can play all the nice bit of on the floor football that we do, and we do play some good football at times. But at the same time, you've got to have that grit edge about you where you've got to have a consistent Djukovic or a Dini or someone just to ruffle up a few defenders, get in their heads, because then you give Scott your chances to run in behind. Kedra's got the chance to run in behind. If you're worried about Djukovic, you get in space for the little men to run about. I think it's perfect to play shithouse football sometimes. I think it's great. A dirty 4-4-2 is just beautiful at times. And
Yeah.
a Sam Allardyce wet dream is what we're after.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's how we've always played, isn't it? Like I haven't been a fan as long as you fellas, but the 8-9 years I have supported Blues, I haven't known anything other than hoof the ball forward to Djukovic or Donaldson or whoever's up top at the time and just win the headers on and bring them down. Like, so it's the way we've always done it, regardless of whether we're playing 5 at the back, 4 at the back, 3 at the back, whatever. It's the Blues way to play football. Hoof it up to the big men, bring it down, and see what success you can get from that. So I don't think the way we play has necessarily changed too much. I think we certainly looked better in a 4 at the back, and although it didn't work a few weeks back, certainly against Swansea, it very much did. So I think 4 at the back needs to be used against West Brom on Friday.
I've got 2 words for this next segment. It's going to sort of spark the fiery debate. Jamie already knows. Manny Longelo.
Yes! I said before the podcast, I've been so unbelievably excited. After that Longelo masterclass, I've been so excited for this pod. You all laughed at me.
I'm laughing at Jamie, man. He's looking away. He's not.
I'm looking for the humble pie I'm about to fucking eat.
It's in the fridge, man.
Right. The amount of times on this podcast I've brought up Longelo and you guys have gone, or Paul the Pale's on.
Okay, right. I'm going to come out on record and say this. I have never, ever said that he is completely shit. All I've said is that wing back is too much for this guy. Left back, he does all right. Left mid, he does well. But I've said, how many times I've said in a 4-4-2, Manny Longelo at left mid could probably be a really good player. I've stated that as facts. But wing back for this guy is too much for him on the emphasis to get back and forward with that much pace. And that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
He was superb against Swansea, to be fair to him. He was superb in your words.
And you are right in that he should be playing higher up, because against Swansea he obviously played in that more left mid role and he looked so much stronger. Especially, I've said it countless times, going forward he's brilliant. I think 100%, as I said, we should deploy a 4 at the back against West Brom, and Manny Longelo, no doubt should be starting left mid for Blues.
He looked very slick on the ball. You know, there was a couple of chances he had on the left-hand side where he got the ball into that dangerous area in the box, and the right back is keeping with him. He puts a foot in, tries to win the ball, tries to toe poke it away. He just little right foot onto the left foot, away from the player, and then puts it across the box multiple times, I think it was. You know, and Scott Hogan had a few chances. He did a Paul Gascoigne twice, I think it was, towards the end of the game. It goes right across the box. He just about misses this, and then a couple of moments later, he does the exact same thing again. It's just so agonizingly close, and that's why I thought we weren't going to win it, and to do it was insane. So that's why I just started screaming.
I know this is the thing. This is what it's annoying. I swear I've been the only one who sees like Longelo going forward. He's got a goal. He got a goal against QPR. He's got a couple of assists this season. One against Sunderland, I can recall. Like the way he gets down the line and just creates that space to get into the box. He does it time and time again. Defensively, I agree, Jamie. He's a weaker player defensively. So Eustace has got to start playing him. Got to start playing him in that left midfield role where he's not as reliant on tracking back and defending, because Trusty will be there and he can just have that freedom to push forward and do what he does best, create that space and get those balls into the box.
He's our player now. We own him. We bought him. I'm going to stop slating him so much and try and get behind him more. Like I've always said, I do believe there's a good footballer in there. I do. I just think he's young. I think, Tommy, you said it last week. He's only ever played for the under-21s at West Ham. Like, this is the first time in his career he's dealing with proper dirty league football where people are just double-footing, snapping. So it is going to take time to adjust. apparently against Swansea, from what I saw as well, he was basically deployed as the outlet on the left, weren't he? Like the ball would just go up and he'd be going for it.
Mm,
And I think that's probably where he is his most dangerous. Push him against
100%.
someone.
Yeah, he's had a few assists this season, hasn't he? He got that one against Sunderland. I think he's got a few at the start of the season as well when he first joined. Um, but yeah, I agree with both of you guys. You know, Jamie, I agree with you the fact that he's not great going backwards, but going forwards, Zach, I think you deserve a medal for the amount of hard work that you put it forward, man. It's like literally the consistent righteousness and assertiveness, believing that
Yeah,
you're right is you're
yeah.
spot on, man. It really is. You can see
I've
that
been with
he's
him
good
since
work,
day
man.
one.
In all
Day
fairness,
one.
if any Birmingham City players are watching this podcast, can you get Longelo to go and give Zach a little cheeky follow on Twitter and Insta? Because I think he's earned that. I
God,
think
Give him a
he's
I was
signed
actually
gonna.
earned
shirt.
that one.
I did.
Send
I
him a
did a.
signed shirt.
I did a tweet praising him, and I was gonna tag him, but I couldn't find his Twitter, and I found it later. I was like, oh, could have been a like at least, but there you go. There you go. Manny,
Manny
I think you're a
Longelo.
baller, and I've said
Manny
it from the start.
Longelo. Fucking follow Zach Woods, right? On Twitter.
Thank you. Number one
We're
fan
going to
over
ask
here.
for it
Number
every
one
week.
fan. Yeah.
Blues
Anyway,
Awards ceremony. We're going to run at him and be like, listen, get your phone. Come here, Manny.
Not
Yeah,
even
yeah.
invited.
Anyway, we've got to move away from Longelo because I swear the last 4 podcasts we probably had a 10-minute segment on Longelo alone. So
I think it's
moving
the last
away,
every podcast we've done.
that is true. Moving away from that, Tommy, I want to know a bit more about like what it was like in that away end because like those are. It's obviously hard for some people to travel away, and it's a shame because people don't get to experience it as much as the home games. But when you've got 2 late goals in an away end, the last time I recall us really doing that, 2 really late goals was Derby. I don't even know how many years ago that was. I don't think we've done anything quite like that as recently, where we've got 2 very late goals.
I think the only one I can think of, it wasn't as late as Derby, but we definitely got 2 goals towards the end of Blackburn in the Monk season. We scored it in like the 80th and the 82nd minute, I think we did. But the Derby one's like right towards the end of the game because it was like 5 minutes added on. We scored right at the start of that 90 minutes and then we equalised at the last second of the game. Fuck knows how, like the referee did us a massive favour in that game and carrying on the time for a bit. But yeah, I think like, obviously, you know, like you say, I travel an incredible amount of miles to go into the games and everything. So big shout out to my dad for taking us week in, week out. I was just in shock. You know, I couldn't understand. I could see us equalising. I definitely could, and it was Duke as well. So I thought, yeah, definitely a goal. And then to get that goal was just like such a shock because it got whipped in by Hannibal. And then I'm thinking like it's going to be like at least a header away at first because there always is in those situations. But then as soon as it left his head and it went across the box, I thought that's in. And then it hit the back of the net and it took me another split second to realise it was in. And it was like, fucking hell, we've actually won it. And I was looking across for the offside and like, this is all happening in like split seconds in my mind. I'm thinking like, looking across and thinking,
Yeah.
is it offside?
Give
Is it not?
Give
No,
it
it's
yet?
on. It's just, my whole mind was just racing at that point. I think that's why I just started going mad. I've never celebrated like that before, even in the Carling Cup final. That was just like, just shock. That was. I don't even think I properly celebrated that goal.
It was just an explosion of emotion, weren't it? Like we finally stopped the losing run. We got what we deserved and won a game. All the Swansea fans were giving it the big and now shut their mouths and all started crying their ass home. It was just a good day, weren't it, as a Blues fan? I mean, you speak about apatheticness, Tommy. I was in the pub, obviously, and watching live score after the game with the lads, just having a chat. And then it came, obviously, we equalised. I was like, it's a great fucking point away at Swansea. Then it's called just saying goal at Swansea Stadium. And instantly I just went, oh, fuck, mate, we lost it. Oh, of course we have. Like, and then when it's the second goal for Blues, I was like, oh my God. Like, nah. Like,
it's like that disbelief, isn't it? You don't believe it after so long. I was thinking about this because I've been down in Birmingham earlier. I've been doing a little piece with this French journalist for Canal Plus, talking about Jude Bellingham. And I was just thinking when I was speaking about him, I was thinking that's the last team that I really felt connected with. You know, like that Jude Bellingham when he was here, it was like we had something to be really proud about.
yeah.
I think since he's left, it's been so miserable and it's been hard. It's been like a chore supporting the Blues, really. And that at the weekend was like a good release. You know, it was finally, we've actually got something to be happy about for a bit.
But it's mentally stressful, isn't it, supporting Birmingham City? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's not even just football fatigue, it's mental fatigue. If it's not we're doing shit in the league, it's FFP or some investigation or some bullshit behind the doors are happening. So it's a moment of release.
Mm. Even if it is as short-lived as a couple of days when we play West Brom on Friday, you know, I feel like we've got a better chance now with that win. Had we lost 6 on the bounce, I feel like the team might have gotten to a bit then, because they didn't play great, like you say, Zach, but it was like a disaster of a performance. But I feel like it might have felt like that had we lost that game. Particularly if the third goal was the winner as well. I feel like that really would have popped the balloon or something, because it just would have felt really deflating then, you know, just all that hard work, even, you know, just like get nothing again. It's just the players just must have just gone, oh, what do we have to do in order to even get a win at this point? It's just, I think that's why they really did love that feeling, like everybody else did. Because like another Manny Longelo thing, he just jumps to advertising boards and just runs and celebrates with the fans at the end. I didn't know, because my head was like a washing machine at that point. It's just like rocking around like that.
I think two other. Go on, you guys, Zach. Sorry, go on.
No, go on, you go, because I was going to sort of segue it to something else in my usual fashion.
I was just gonna. I was just gonna.
Oh no! Oh no!
Mute your mic. Mute the mic.
I hate it.
Check if Zach's dead or.
Like his house, his uni dorm just burning down.
He just joins again, and it's just a big fire behind him. Oh, I'm here, guys.
His whole room's just burnt down. Oh, for God's sake, my Wi-Fi's playing up now as well, man. Oh, I know why, because I've opened something up, actually. I'll just leave it.
I need to eat, fam, so we need to get this done. I haven't eaten since fucking 7 o'clock this morning. And I can feel my sugar levels dropping. So obviously I don't get hunger though, and my body just tells you, like, fam, eat.
What are you doing to yourself?
Yeah.
I don't know when he's going to be back as well. I'll give him a quick message to see how long do you reckon he's going to be.
Sorry, fellas.
It's all right, man.
I carried on just cracking on with the Longelo apology. I'm up to 360.
You know, it was my flatmate as well. So
was it?
It was. You got loads of lads in your kitchen. What the fuck were you expecting?
They were about as good as cook as fucking the cavemen of what yesteryear.
About as useful as a chocolate fucking teapot.
Wow.
Oh,
sorry,
God.
boys.
I love it. That's brilliant.
Zach, you better enjoy this fucking apology. You better enjoy it. I'm definitely dragging my out as well.
I'm so excited. I am so excited for this.
Talking about his goal against QPR, and instead of putting QPR, I've just put Queen's Park Rangers to kill more words.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I'm excited. I'll grade it and everything as well, mate.
Don't. I'm dyslexic, so good luck grading it.
Yeah. D-. What
were we talking? I like it, Jamie.
I was bringing up to a quick point where before segue, boy. You know when that noise hit my ears, then I thought you'd installed some like mad segue noise there, and I
thought that too. You know,
that's why I started laughing. I thought it was just like
really?
Yeah.
Bloody hell, the production quality ain't that high, fellas.
Yes.
Wow.
But it's not that difficult, to be honest. It could just have
that is true. No, I'm not that techie. I'll leave that to Tommy, the sound effects and the editing and that. But
yeah, man.
No, just some shit cooking.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jamie, actually, to be fair, it looks banging. It's like chicken burgers and chips. And I tried a chip, and it's got like the like the Nando's peri peri stuff on. So 10 out of 10.
But charcoal as well after they burnt
it. Yeah, but is it worth evacuating about 500 students? Probably not. Right, where were we? Jamie, you were saying.
Just want to bring up 2 points before, obviously, Zach, you dive into your segue. I just wanted to literally say, I just want to say, basically, one, Chong running forward aggressively at players again, getting the ball, great composed finish, the Chong that we know is there. And Bakuna decided to actually not do a shit little pirouette and lose the ball, and actually just got the ball down, played it simple, played it quick, and it worked. Bakuna showed in that moment that he can be that quality that we need, and he's always arguably been our most technical player anyway on the ball, let's be honest. But if he does it simple and quick, we can be dangerous on that attack with Chong and Hogan,
Yeah.
and that's all I want to say. We used our strengths quite well against that.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think the thing with Chong is I love Chong a lot and I think he's fantastic. And even in the games where he hasn't been performing to his best recently, you can still see those glimmers of quality in him.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas some players at Blues, not to name any or pick any out, but when they're having a poor game, they don't do those little small things that separate them from the best at Blues and the worst at Blues. Does that kind of make sense? So even when Chong's having his off game, he'll have just 3 seconds where he does something fantastic or a little bit of glimmer, and same with Bakuna. But both of them were good against Swansea. To be honest, obviously Chong took his goal really well and a beautifully played through ball from Bakuna. So hopefully they can both of them have been a bit off form recently, so hopefully they can just kick on with that now and use it as a bit of momentum.
I heard Bielik looked pretty strong second half, especially like he was just getting it quick out wide. I heard Bielik started to look like the player of pre-World Cup again.
I think the players just sort of got a bit of a kick into the second half, really, because they think, I don't know, we started playing more simple, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't have the ball in the middle of the pitch for too long. We had like a lot of chances towards the end of the game around the edge of the box. We did well, it wasn't the best performance, of course, but for the performances we've been seeing recently, it was a better performance. I feel like players like Bielik and Chong and Bakuna, they played well because they did the best things on the pitch in terms of just getting the ball forward and getting the ball away from danger. And Bielik made some good challenges on that day. It was a much better performance, to be honest, considering how bad we've been in recent times.
I think it was a better performance going forward. I think defensively it was still pretty shoddy, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think the goals were quite weak. And I think at times, particularly first half, particularly first 20 minutes, to be honest, we looked very, very open. But second half, the performance did improve as well as the performance going forward. What the question I did want to ask actually, before my fire alarm went off, is and there was a lot of people talking about this prior to the 2 late goals. If we'd lost that game, do you question Eustace? Because 6 losses on the bounce, no matter how well you've done prior to that, or the team you've got 6 losses on the bounce isn't good. So there was quite a few mixed opinions on it. But I mean, what do you guys think? Does he come into question?
No, in my opinion. Sorry to jump the gun there, Tommy, but I think, like most managers we've sacked, I think that they've basically dealt with. I know Eustace brought a few signings, a good few signings in, but I think the majority of the squad is still the same shithouse that every manager's had to deal with, and there's a reason we keep finishing around about where we keep finishing. The squad isn't good enough. Jose Mourinho will struggle to take this team up. And I think that's the issue with it, unfortunately. Like, our squad depth, our ability, is restricted. That's probably the reason he's playing the back five, is because apart from Bakuna and Chong, he hasn't got the technical forwards to play that kind of moving, kind of quick passing play he'd like to play. B looks great, but you're not going to expect him to do first time quick passes. He has to play to the strengths of the team. And he feels safest at the minute playing a back five.
Yeah, I
tried a back
completely
four
agree
and
with
got
that.
shit on
Yeah.
against Preston.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot, because he's been dealt a difficult hand, hasn't he? Because he's coming through a season last season where we were underperforming after. I feel like they were expecting a lot more from last season, and the performances that were just so underwhelming, and to finish 20th, that when John Eustace has come in, it's been a bit like, I wouldn't say like there's nothing that he can do wrong, really, because of course he can always improve, like some of the substitutions, which I thought he did better against Swansea. He did make the right choices at the right time. But I feel like it's difficult to criticise him under these circumstances. But I feel like the majority of what you said there, Jamie, is pretty much spot on, really, because he's working with restrictions in a lot of ways, and I feel like playing that back five is probably the epitome of Blues, really. But if it works, and if it's safe, and if it's going to keep us from losing another game, then that will probably have to deal with that, really. So yeah, I'd keep Eustace. I don't know who we get otherwise, unless we have somebody lined up. I don't see him leaving anytime soon.
Don't get me wrong, I love Eustace, I do. The only thing I was screaming at in the summer when we sat Bowyer was Sean Dyche. I'd love to have Sean Dyche.
Mm.
But obviously he's now at Everton, so we
He's
move.
got bigger ambitions, man.
Of course, but imagine look at Sean Dyche. Like, imagine the shithouse football Sean Dyche performed with Jukovic and Troy Deeney.
Did he play
Imagine
for
how
Sean Dyche
disgusting.
Djukovic?
I think he must have, surely.
Surely, yeah, because he was at Burnley for a brief
Maybe.
period.
But imagine that. Imagine how dirty that would be.
Yeah,
The ball wouldn't be on the ground like at
No.
all. It would just be in the air the entire
Mark Roberts
time.
and Lucas Djukovic in the team, it would never be on the floor.
The game would end. There'd be 2 broken ankles, probably a cracked open head, and we'd have lost 1-0. So that would be how it worked. So.
The only time the ball is on the ground is when Mark Roberts is cleaning the ball for the long throw. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that would be Dyche ball at Blues.
Can you imagine? That would be fucking hilarious to watch. I feel like we've got to talk about the West Brom game next, because even though this podcast has been going on for a little bit longer in terms of the time, we actually haven't spoke about too much, of course, because Zach said somebody's trying to burn the house down. So yeah, let's talk about the Albion game. Let's see how we think about this game. So Jamie, you said you were fairly confident earlier.
I think we win. I think especially, I know people say we've not been on good form, we've won a game, but in derby games, lads, let's be honest, form doesn't really matter. It just doesn't. I think West Brom are in a good form. We've not been in the best form. Yes, we won a game with 2 late goals. It's at St Andrews. It's Friday night. It's under the lights. Anything can happen, and I genuinely think we've got a chance to get at them.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it very much depends what happens with West Brom this week. So there's obviously rumours that Carlos Corberán could be leaving them. So I think that could depend on our success on Friday night. I think I'm quite negative on here at the moment, but I've got to be honest. I just can't. I genuinely can't see a win, and I'll tell you why. I think we obviously, prior to Swansea, we'd lost 5 league games on the bounce. Swansea, despite a fantastic finish, defensively we weren't too great, and we know how threatening West Brom can be going forward. They've turned things around superbly, West Brom, and they're now, I don't know, are they in playoffs, challenging for playoffs? I haven't seen too much recently. I haven't seen the league table in 6th, yeah. So obviously go from bottom to 6th, they're doing very well. I just think it's such a tough game for Blues. I really do think it is.
I agree. I agree with you massively, Zach. I'm literally looking at West Brom's last 6 games, though. They beat Cov 1-0, fine. They lost 2-1 to Burnley. It's Burnley. But then they beat Luton 3-2, lost to Bristol 3-0, beat Chesterfield 4-0, but in the first leg drew 3-3. You can get at their defence. You can get at them. Like Chesterfield, are they National League or League 2? And they've put 3 past them. This team can be got at.
Yeah, true.
And we score more than them, though, because I imagine we definitely ship a few.
Jurgen Klopp football, just who's going to outscore who. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm as much as I'd love a win, I'm just not hopeful for it, just purely because of how fantastic West Brom have been since Corberán's come in, and our poor recent form.
I think I'm going to do a Jamie Lawler bet cash-in prediction and actually put a 5 on Hannibal to be sent off on Friday. I think this is the game it happens. St Andrews,
Don't bet against Blues, man. You can't. No. You can't be betting against.
I'm not getting against them. I think Blues win, but Hannibal's not on the pitch.
Is that going to be on your slip when you?
I might actually do that. I might do Birmingham to win and Hannibal to be sent off at any time.
That might not
because
be
I'm telling you now, Hannibal is due a red card at some point. He's a little shithouse, and it's something like 40-1 as well for a red card. That guy, I don't know where these odds come from, but at some point in the season, you're banking.
Yeah, well, to be fair, they're so high because he's yet to be sent off, isn't he? You can get loads of yellows, but not reds, isn't it?
If we're 1-0 up, if we're 1-0 up and they're having a counter attack, he is 110% just double footing someone and booting the ball in someone else's face or something while they're on the floor.
So we're 1-0 up and you're just praying for Hannibal to go.
No, not at all. I don't want a stressful fucking game, but I'm a Birmingham fan. I'm used to it.
Yeah, true.
We don't
Tommy,
get
what are
many
your
red
thoughts
cards
for West Brom?
I just want to point that out, actually.
Yeah, we
get many
don't.
red cards.
No, I can't. What was our last red card? Do you remember? Was it Gary Gardner? Was it last season?
I don't
Cov, was
know.
it?
No.
Mm,
We had that was Coventry had a man sent off against us
Didn't we
earlier
get
in the
someone?
season.
Ryan Woods?
Ryan Woods was last season at Cov, yeah.
Cov.
That was
was
sort of
I don't
Gardner?
November
recall anyone
time.
being sent off for us this season.
No, unless there's someone really early on. I don't know. I can't really remember this
I
season.
think the last one was Gardner
It feels
last
like it, yeah.
season.
Hull away, yeah, it might have
Mm.
been. Yeah, interesting that is. Um, thoughts on the Albion game for me? I can see a point, and I'd be happy with the points. I can't see us winning 2 on the bounce. I think we were lucky against Swansea. I don't think we didn't deserve it, but we're definitely lucky, that's for sure. I feel like we're going to have to grind out like hell against West Brom. It's going to be a tough game. They're going to be up for it. We're going to be up for it. And I feel they've got just a little bit of a better edge than us at times.
Mm.
And they'll be wanting to get their revenge on from earlier in the season, which we thoroughly deserve to win that game. There's no doubt about that one. So they'll be wanting to change things after earlier in the season. I'm just
Hopefully
more
the ref
interested.
knows now where a fucking free kick and a penalty is because that wanker,
Yeah,
like last time. Better not be him
That-
again.
I can't remember who it was. Yeah, we get him quite a lot, and he always gives us terrible decisions as well.
Shit.
Yeah, it was so obviously a free kick. I couldn't believe it when they gave a
I was
penalty.
in
It was just like
Turkey.
unnecessary stress.
Obviously, after surgery. I was half with it after surgery, obviously having morphine to feel no pain. And I was even watching it like, how's that a pen? Like, I'm about 5,000 kilometers away from you, out me tree here. Like, how is that a pen? Like,
We should have a
Yeah,
little
it's
Jamie
nuts, isn't it?
story time corner because he just comes up with some many amazing gems sometimes, you know. So
You've
it's
got some
wild.
stories, you have, Jamie. You've been about,
I was
haven't you?
out in Turkey getting my stomach replaced.
get it whipped out,
Yeah.
lads. Honestly, 6 stones in September. No issues over here.
Yeah.
Love it, life. Yeah, I think what you said, Tommy, I completely agree with, and I think that the top teams in the championship, particularly the top 6, just have that cutting edge in the final third. That opportunity you see Blues waste, West Brom will score it at the other end. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think just going forwards, I think West Brom will maybe have the edge. We're undoubtedly probably going to ship a goal or two because defensively we've been leaking in goals for fun recently, and we really have. That's not me being negative. We've been so poor defensively of late. So
Yeah.
I can honestly see maybe we can nick a goal, but I can see a 2-1, 3-1 West Brom.
When's Harley back?
Never.
Don't know if he is coming back.
It's that contract thing, isn't it? That they don't want to, they can't admit, really, let's be honest. But we all know it's really the truth because he's, after a certain amount of games, he gets a pay rise, which we can't afford. And that's why we're keeping him out of the team. And the only reason he was in the team is because Paul Richardson was supposedly taking over that percentage. And that's why we're making actual signings. Since then, yes, we have bought Longelo, but it was only for a small fee. We bought Chong for, I think, was it 2.4 million?
But that's going to be over installments, isn't it? That's not an instant.
Yeah, of course, but they would have paid that money to at least have, bought the player because if if it wasn't installments, they still had to pay all of it because else he wouldn't be our player anymore. So yeah, that's the reason that Harley Dean is out the team. Let's be honest. I mean, everybody knows that as well, though, because it's not like it's everybody knows it, but the club won't admit it because. Why would they really? It's a stupid thing to do. So they'll just say he's injured for a bit.
Unless
It's
he
1 year left. We've got a
genuinely is
replacement.
hurt.
He might be, but there again, it all happened when the deal fell through. He didn't play since then.
Because
He didn't play
I
against
have no
Blackpool.
idea. I wouldn't know. It could be injury, could be contract problems. I have no clue, but whatever it takes to get Harley Dean back in the side, I'd very much like.
Oh, I know.
I don't know. It's obviously with the protests that were supposed to be happening on Friday. I'm not too sure how big they're going to be anymore, because of the good win we had on the weekend. I don't know. How do you guys think about this going forward with all this? Because
I mean,
it's
win or not,
interesting, isn't it?
we still need to get these owners the fuck out of there. I'm sorry to be as blunt as that about it, but a win or not, a good run of form or not, we cannot run a football club like this. These owners are running us very slowly into the ground, and I think the only reason we're currently not under afloat at the minute is probably the money from staying up every season, because you surely get a bit of money for staying up. And literally, these are going to run us dead into the ground. So these need to piss off as quick as they can. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's bloody Mr. Blobby and Pac-Man at the minute. Just someone fucking buy us who's got money. I couldn't give a shit who right now. Just anyone who's financially stable, buy us.
Imagine how much money Pac-Man makes.
know,
He
yeah.
definitely could buy the
Probably
players.
made a couple of quid, hasn't he? Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think just because of the Swansea result, it doesn't mean that things at the top are now all sound and happy and dandy. It's all still an absolute mess. And like we've said in the past, we just want sustainability, don't we? We're not bothered about being bought out by unbelievably wealthy people. I mean, it'd be nice, but that's not
Wouldn't say
really.
no.
We just
Mm.
Of course, we wouldn't say no, but in the short term, we just want a bit of stability. We want owners who can look after the ground, look after the team, look after the players, invest a couple of million each transfer window, getting a good few signings, slowly build the team, progress the academy, progress the youth system. That's all we want, and that's not asking for much because that's how a football club should be run. That's how the
Yeah.
majority of football clubs in this country are run, the correct way. But for years, we've been run like an absolute circus. So
Yeah,
I
spot
think
on.
just because of the Swansea win, I certainly don't feel that it should be forgotten about because I think it certainly social media stuff has died down. It almost is being slightly forgotten about, and I mean, people can protest how they want, right, wrong way. There is no right or wrong way of doing things, but whatever happens, we need to try and come together and get these owners out.
And I think the more points we get, the quicker. Because if, as we saw today, Man City are now getting smacked by FFP.
Mm.
I feel like the EFL, another. I said this to my friend, obviously he's a Portsmouth fan, my best mate, John, and I spoke to his dad over the weekend. And I said to them, I'm not being funny. We've been hit with it. You got hit with it big time. I reckon about 90% of clubs in the EFL will get slapped with FFP at some point, but I think we got it out of the way early, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up, isn't it? Like, how many teams have been breached of
Derby,
points now?
fucked.
Bury, Bolton,
Derby,
Blues.
Reading, Bolton Berry Blues.
A lot of teams are going to get hit with it, boys. I'm telling you now. The fact that Man City got hit today is a
Wigan.
massive statement. Massive.
Yeah,
Because
Wigan got it done, didn't they, in 2020? That's why they went down. We would have,
Yeah.
I think, would we have gone down that season had they not
I
been?
know we would have gone down last season if it weren't for Reading, weren't it? Or some madness like
I
that.
I don't
I
know
want to
about
say
that.
I want to say we wouldn't have gone down that Monk season. I could be wrong, but I think I remember thinking, oh well, that would have been irrelevant anyway. We were quite fortunate actually that that's the one season we were doing quite well because if we hadn't been doing well, we've been jammy bastards over the years to not go down, haven't we?
Guarantee
We've
laughing
been
again,
jammy
watch.
bastards.
We'll be
Yeah.
like 14 points clear with 5 games to go, all sitting up, kicking back, going holiday mode, and then fucking FFP will come in and go, oh, here's a 12-point deduction. Fuck off.
Down to the last day again in it, which
Yeah.
is Sheffield United last day, isn't it? Should it come
yeah.
to it? But no. You say all, but I'm hoping things are done and signed off and sealed for Sheffield United at
How
that point.
Birmingham
Hopefully,
City would it be, though?
It's still,
no. Hopefully they've got first or second, and they field a second string team, and we've got a much easier day out.
We need to win to stay up. It's 0-0, 90th minute. Manny Longelo unleashes an absolute thunderclap from 20
my god! Oh
Miss.
my god!
topless. Zach is topless.
I'm on the pitch.
I'm on the
pitch.
Big dick energy.
Cut that. But I am on the pitch. On that pitch. That'd be
Just on the pitch,
unreal.
just helicopter it.
For fuck's sake.
And he actually levitates as well because it is that big.
Can we stop talking about my knob, please?
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Zach Woods. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Oh man, right. Where were we? Manny Longelo scoring. Beautiful.
I think
Yeah,
we'll be
we've-
alright this season, though. All jokes aside, I think it was good to finally stop the after Christmas shithouse rut. I think even if we don't win against West Brom, a point is a great result, as you said, Tommy. I'm always optimistic. We play Man City at the minute, so we could get a point. So I'm Mr. Optimism, but it's one of them. I'd take a point happily. I think get a point Friday, shit on Cardiff Tuesday, hopefully. 4 points from the next 2 games, and we're slowly crawling back into that safe zone. This league's ridiculous. If we had avoided defeat, and let's say if we had won the 3 out of the last 5, we'd be playoff contention again. It's ridiculous, this league.
And if we'd have won all games, we'd been top of the league.
Yeah.
Sounded like Steve Cottrell over there, Jamie.
Yeah.
And if every woman I spoke to, fell in love with me, I'd be married with Laura Woods and have 20 kids by now. Do you know what I mean? But these things ain't happening.
Oh, 20 kids. God, you ain't gonna be coming to Blues anymore if you got 20 kids, mate.
What are you on about? I'm breeding the next 11. Oh.
Oh God.
For some reason, I don't think I'd have the facilities. Cut.
Oh man.
There's about a
What do you mean?
3-minute segment here. Tommy's just gonna have to clean cut out like. Fuck.
What are you talking about? This is all staying in.
Are you both
Right,
going baggies Friday? By the way,
yeah,
I
I'll
am.
try and meet up and grab a drinky poos beforehand.
Don't say that.
beautiful.
Don't say that word. That's disgusting.
Talk about our ball knowledge.
Oh God.
That's what I need to add to
I
the apology. That you clearly display good ball knowledge.
might have a hot chocky wocky if that's all right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll tell
I'll
you
get
which
some
word I hate.
sweeties.
That's worse. That's worse
Right.
than drinky poos.
I'll tell you which word I really hate, and this isn't
Moist.
like no, it's hot toddy. I fucking
What?
hate that word.
Hot toddy.
What's a
Do you
hot
know?
toddy?
Google it
No,
because I can't be asked to explain it to
I
you.
don't know if it's.
But
I don't know if I want it.
no, it's a nice drink and everything. It's got a bit of whiskey in it.
Oh, it's a drink. Oh, okay.
It is a drink, yeah.
Hot toddy is also known as a hot whiskey in Ireland. It's typically mixed with liquor and water with honey, lemon, herbs, and spices served hot.
Yeah, it's like an alcoholic sort of
So a nice
herbal
little hot
tea
toddy, what?
almost. Yeah, I hate that word, and yeah, I really like them.
There's a word I hate more, and that, do you know Chef Dave?
Uh,
Like the disgusting little gremlin on TikTok. Know him?
no, but I feel like if you carry on talking, I might.
He constantly says titty bar, as in like another name for a strip club. Honestly, it makes me feel sick.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
cringe,
such
that
a
is.
rank way of putting it. Like, oh, I hate the man. I hate the man. We've gone so off topic talking about fucking Chef Dave and his titty bars, but anyway,
Hot toddies.
yeah.
Score predictions.
Score
predictions.
Right.
We need
score
like a little.
predictions, West Brom. Score
We need like a
predictions, West
little
Brom.
a jingle for that, don't we? Like score predictions brought to you
Yeah.
by. Go on,
HJ,
Jamie.
well planning.
Who?
2-0.
Yeah.
Blues win 2-0. I think he learns his mistakes from Swansea. I think the defence sharpens up over the week. And I think I said to Tommy I think we need to go back to being, like we said earlier, nasty bastard Birmingham City and be horrid to play against. Get in them early, get them nervous, get them angry, get at them, deploy the Duke to be an absolute shithouse. And Hogan's probably still giving them defenders nightmares from the hat trick. They're probably going to be worried about Hogan.
He should take some confidence into that game, because having a hat trick in any game is good, and particularly against a rivalry,
And away from home at their turf as well.
Literally, yeah. I'd be, if that was me scoring those 3 goals, I'd absolutely fucking love the reverse fixture. I'd be like, yeah, come on, let's do it again.
Bring it.
Make it 4.
I just hope Kedra's back.
Yeah.
We could.
He came off injured, didn't he?
I mean, I'm going to sound stupid for saying this, but we could potentially do what you're saying, actually, Jamie. We could definitely get that on them quick. I feel like that's the key for that night.
I feel like they're slow starters.
Yeah, I feel like if we start slow, though, it's difficult.
Pre-World Cup, we were the quickest starters in the league. I think we were like the quickest
By
goals in
far,
15
we were
minutes.
so good. Yeah, we were the team with the most goals in the first 15 minutes, and I think we'd conceded the least in the first 15. And I'd said it on the podcast multiple times. Under Eustace, we always start games on top and on the front foot. Hasn't been the same after obviously the World Cup and everything, but we need to get that spark back, because maybe you're right. If we start the better team against West Brom, we could do them over. I'm sticking with my. I'm going to go 2-1 baggies, because I just can't see us getting a result against a team that are in good form, and we're a team not in good form. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So for me, I've got to be honest. I'm normally quite positive on here, but 2-1 baggies.
2-1, okay. So we're going 2-0 Jamie. No, sorry, Jamie's going 2-0 and Zach's going 2-1. I'm going to go down the middle then and have a very even thing. I'm going to say 2-2. I know I'd be happy with the 2-2. I really would.
Is that fence comfortable you sat on?
Oh, it's a little bit spiky, but it's okay. It's all right. It needs a good clean, this fucking brick wall I'm sat on at the moment between both of us.
Were you sat in bottom tilted?
Yeah. I'm sat on
That's
an
good.
iron beam at the moment.
That's sharp. That's sharp. I like that.
I've got Zach behind me sat in the Tilton, and then Jamie sat in the main stand over there, and he's just shouted Longelo, and he's throwing stuff over the other side of him, and he keeps on hitting me in the face with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-2. I'd be happy with that because I feel like we're gonna score goals. I feel like they're gonna score goals, so I think 2-2 is safe. Because saying we're gonna win 3-2 would be a bit out there, particularly if we go and lose 2-0. Then so it'd be a bit embarrassing. So I'm gonna say 2-2. I'm gonna sit
I
on
think
that.
Scott Bags as well.
I think he can, yeah. Like I said, I feel like he should take confidence into this game, particularly from how he performed last game against in that game against West Brom away. Yeah, I can see him definitely scoring if he's fired up and ready for it. I feel like we should all be really, because pretty much what we just said. Really, just we should take confidence into that game. So we're talking a little bit about Cardiff, just in case we don't do a podcast after the West Brom game. Although we could do
we
one.
could be fucked.
It can be Arsenal fucking waking up at 2:00 in the afternoon.
So
but
aggressive.
we could be fucked. Cardiff, let's think.
Got to win 6-pointer. It's already a relegation 6-pointer for me.
Really? So if we don't win those
They're
2
in
games, we're back
complete
into
free
it.
fall. They're fucked. I'm sorry, but they're in free fall. They've had a transfer embargo. They're falling down the league. Like, they are literally there for the taking. They've just lost to Hull 1-0. They can't. Like, do you know what I mean? Though I know we lost to Hull 1-0 as well, but they just look completely devoid of goals. They've got rid of obviously some of their strikers and stuff. They don't have much really, and I think we want revenge because that was a shit performance when we went to their ground.
Yeah, it was a abysmal afternoon. That was actually. It was hot. It was. Yeah, it wasn't great really.
Yeah.
Were you at that game, Zach? I swear you were, because I feel like
I
I
was
walked
next
past
to you.
you.
Yeah, I was next to you, but I haven't really spoken to you at the time, and
I know, yeah.
I just didn't say hi for whatever reason.
This is weird because like we've known each other for like what 3 months, I think it is, and yet
not long.
all of us together as a 3, and yet we feel like we're getting big dick energy jokes all than that. As if like we've known each other.
Let's be honest. I have no personal space or anything or filter, so I'm just in with it.
Yeah,
literally the first thing he ever showed me, Jamie, that we got on that podcast together. I think it was after the Sheffield United game. He just was like, "You want to see my stomach? Here it is." it's like his whole thing that took it out of him. I was like, "Oh, that's nice. That is, yeah, that's good."
I respect that a lot. Why not? Cut the bullshit, cut the small talk, and let's get straight into things.
Nah, don't. No. Oh, you found my kryptonite with words now, man. Honestly, just fucking pissed off. Stop it.
They piss me off as well. Stuff like that. Hot chocolate tum tum. Oh, what is
I'm
that?
gonna punch my mic in a minute if you don't stop fucking saying those words, man. It's making me cringe.
What is that?
That's his stomach.
Oh, nice.
That'll be blurred. That'll be blurred. I'm definitely blurring that.
Yeah, just cut this bit. Cut that whole bit out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Cardiff we have to win. I think again, strong performance, go in 2-0.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Manny Longelo
I
scores.
agree. I agree with a lot of what you said there. We're in a mess. Cardiff are very much in a mess. As you said, transfer embargo. They've just got a new manager in. I've actually tipped, mate asked me who will go down. I had Cardiff to go down this season. Or more recently, I'm adamant Cardiff will go down. They are completely in free fall. Nothing's going well for them. I might be wrong, but I don't think they've won a game since November. I didn't.
Wow.
That might be right. I'm not sure. But put it simply, they are on horrific form. The club's a mess. I think it's a game we very much need to win. It's a home game, which goes in our favour a little bit. I'd go for I feel confident about that one. I'd go for a 2-0 Blues.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I always think we do terribly against Cardiff. Cardiff in general, but Cardiff at home as well. We never.
That's true.
I can't remember the last time we beat them at home.
It's
a long time
we were
ago.
2-0 up. We were 2-0 up last season, weren't we? And then they came back to 2-2.
Yeah. I think that the last one I can think of is Adams when he runs nearly half the length of the pitch and hits in the bottom corner and we win 1-0 that night. That might actually be the last time we beat Cardiff at home.
God,
I think it is. It might be. because they got promoted that season. They weren't in the Championship next season. We lost 4-0 when Bowyer was in charge. And then obviously last season we lost. Yeah, we drew 2-2 with them last season. So that was the last time we beat them at home. So going off that basis, I don't feel particularly confident. And knowing how typical Blues it would be to go and lose that game where we really needed to win it. And it would be relatively the easiest game out of the 3 games, really, because we beat Swansea. We could potentially get a point against West Brom. To lose that game would be terrible, really, because it's like that could have gotten some distance between the bottom teams then and got us further away from that. We could still be in the sort of same position, like sort of 19th and 18th, but it would have gotten us some points between us, so we wouldn't have to worry about the drop too much. But I don't know. I feel like we could pinch a point, maybe. I just can't see us winning, really, because it's just that game, really. Cardiff don't ever seem to. They don't look like a threat, but they always seem to score really easy goals against us. The goal they scored against us away was like, I think that was like the 2 goals that Swansea scored against the weekend. It was like across the box in. They could have scored some chances that day as well. We had a penalty that just obviously was a penalty. Scott Hogan got barged over, didn't get it. Yeah, I don't know about that one, but I feel more confident about West Brom than I do about Cardiff. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to go to... no, actually, I can't say we're going to lose. I'm going to say 1-1. I've got to say 1-1.
God, sitting on the fence all the time, Tommy.
I can't say we're going to lose, man.
Stick your neck out, fella. Something controversial.
Say it with your chest.
No, man, I'm not going to say that.
10-0 Brum.
Yeah. I'm going to go 1-1. I can't say we're going to lose on this podcast. I might think we're going to lose, but I can't say we're going to lose.
You got to be honest, man. I think you've got to be honest. I think if things genuinely aren't going well, and I think you just got to be honest. I'll always be honest about Blues. I don't want to tip us in favour just because we're doing well or we're doing poor. I'll always be honest, and I just can't see a result against West Brom. I'm not afraid, Tommy. I'm not afraid to stick my neck out, me.
That's why you were joining in on the protest the other day. That's why he was sat in the stands.
You got me there. Fair enough.
1 for 1. 1 for 1.
Yeah. Fair enough. 1-1.
1-1 like Blues Cardiff is going to be.
Yeah. Actually, no, I'm 2-1 up to longer though. So.
Well, that's at Jamie, actually, isn't it?
Jamie's like 10-0 down here.
You got some catching up to do, mate. You're on a 12-point deduction, you are. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of the Blues Focus podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. And be sure to give us a follow on the Sports Social Network, on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. We'll be back after the Cardiff game, I'm assuming, but depending on how good the West Brom game is going to be, we might bring out a quicker episode. We might have 2 episodes in the next few weeks. But yeah, you've been listening to Mr. Jamie Lawler and Mr. Zachary Woods. It's always a pleasure doing it with these guys. Even if one of the people have a fire alarm halfway through it. I don't know who you're talking about, man. Yeah.
Don't know, mate. Don't know. You must be hearing things. Oh God, the voice.
Oh, that was a voice break and a half. That was even over the shoddy internet. I heard that one.
I was just thinking that one. That hurt.
Thank you guys for listening. It's been a pleasure, and keep right on.
Keep right on.